For practice.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. No, you can't, because I'm going to point. I can stay put. All right. So thank you, everyone, and I apologize for the tight quarters. Realize this is going to be a popular meeting. Any unfinished business? No. It'll be your okay. So we'll consider a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting dated March 11, 2025 as presented. I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll consider a motion to approve the invoice in the amount of $1,145,000, $145,362.64 for the period March 8th through March 21st, 2025. I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion? Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, can we have a roll call?
Mr. North.
Yes.
Mr. Beam.
Yeah. It passes. Next, we'll consider a motion to approve the actual payroll in the amount of $316,610.44 for the period February 23rd through March 8th, 2025.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Any comments or questions? Hearing none, can we have a vote?
Mr. North,
Yes.
Mr. Gaines.
Yes.
Next, we will consider a motion to proclaim the week of April 6th to 12th, 2025 as National Library Week throughout Jefferson County.
So moved.
I'll second the motion. And by way of discussion and information, do we have someone who would like to present? We're doing something a little different today, please, so that it's a little easier for people so you're not talking from behind. I would invite you to the podium to your front right, and then that way people can see and hear from you at the same time. And you can, if you don't like how that podium's oriented, adjust it to your comfort.
Well, thank you for supporting our libraries for National Library Week. And thank you all for being here. I'm Darlene Marshall, the Jefferson County Library System Administrator. We have some trustees, Marilyn Newmont and Richard Fowler and Lisa Boza from our libraries in Jefferson County. And we have some librarians with us today, Janine and Jen. So just want to thank you again for supporting our libraries and realizing the importance of them. And I just wanted to reflect on some things about our libraries that are important. In your handouts, you'll see a return on investment that shows that our libraries are still relevant and still serving people and still doing a lot of the regular services that you see all the time, like books and materials and programs and services. So it kind of just breaks it out, and costs are increasing. So I looked at what the costs have increased, but I don't think that they have come up with a new calculator. So this is still based on some of our old calculations because that's what they provided. Your second couple of handouts show comments that people have commented on how important the library was to them. If they are making new friends, using our spaces to meet with clients, having a calm, safe environment to be in. And many love to read and are just sharing that love of reading with their families. And others need assistance with computers. And on the second handout, so we had lots of comments. I just screenshot some of the comment cards, and you also see some pictures of our 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, where kids are reading and families are reading to them, and just the success of that. And that will raise up our community children to become leaders and know how to read, and that is very vital. Yesterday at our library, I just looked around and saw so much going on, and I wanted to just share just like a snapshot of what happens at a library in the day. So families are visiting the library to borrow books and DVDs, and they were playing in our family place library. All the little teens were sitting there reading, studying, using the computers, waiting to go to practice their play for drama, and others were coming after tennis to use the computer. Adults were studying. Some were getting ready to do QuickBooks for their business and, start their own business. Others were studying to get a job. And there's people using the library and you don't realize it. And there was people making copies, getting taxes, printing for the tax documents that we see are getting ready to prepare. Many borrowed books, others were returning, many used the newspapers, and many were using the computer. And that all happened just in one day, plus there was lots of other things that I didn't capture. And about 2 weeks ago, I stood face to face with a lady who she did not have a phone, a computer, a home, a car. And there I was getting ready to leave to go to church, and I could not leave to go to church because I did not know where she was going to sleep for the night. And so we get those kind of things regularly, and I'm sure you know the statistics of homeless in Jefferson County better than I do. But I just want to tell you that libraries see that. I've been to the Reynoldsville Library. I've seen the homeless that I've served at a food pantry there using a computer and internet. And so I know that our libraries across Jefferson County are sometimes the first place people go who don't have anything. If they need a printer because their home doesn't have a printer anymore, if they need Wi-Fi access to their phone to print, if they need a scanner. I have a lady that her husband lost his truck in a fire and has had one problem after another, but she used to come just to scan the business documents. Now she's coming to scan the loss of her truck. And so there are people who come in their crisis, in their situation to our libraries. And I thank you for understanding that this is a place that there's no barriers. It doesn't matter if you're a child wanting to learn how to read a book. It doesn't matter if you're off the street and we don't know that you just want the bathroom, you're a tourist. You know, a few months back, I had a lady who moved to Jefferson County for her new job, and she didn't have a home, and she didn't have a friend, and she didn't have a church, and she was looking for all these things. And you know what? I had to refer her down the road because our community didn't have a house that was in her price range. I haven't seen her again, but we never know who that person is. Somebody moving to Jefferson County, somebody from another place, but I know that my library sees people from DuBois a lot because they love our family place library. And I know our other libraries have provided these same services. And you know, with Jefferson County and the Groundhog, how many people visit Punxsutawney Library. So thank you for understanding the importance of our libraries today.
Thank you. Before you leave the podium, does anyone have any comments or questions they'd like to ask? Or anything they'd like, maybe anyone from your team who'd like to offer any thoughts?
Any of the trustees who want to share?
Well, I'm Marilyn Moomaw, president of the JCLS board and also a board member of Punxsutawney. And I was talking to both Mark and Scott prior to the meeting and thanking them and sincerely sharing our appreciation for the support that we receive through their budget matters. We know it's a tough job for all committees and organizations, but our public libraries, as we were saying earlier, have almost become what we might consider a necessity in our communities. And the traffic that we see in all 6 county libraries is amazing. And it ranges from all ages from babes in arms to the senior citizens who are also looking for help of all kinds. So when we meet as a board and we come together representing 6 libraries, we always express our appreciation for the money that comes to us through the commissioner's budget and our patrons. And we're always asking for donations like other organizations too, but we simply could not survive. And we do worry about being able to maintain the services that we currently do and maintaining the hours of operation, because like other budgets, we have constraints and concerns for the future as well. So please continue to support as individuals our libraries, and we thank you again as a government support agency as well.
Anything?
I'd like to,
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank you for all you do as a librarian. So I appreciate what you do. You could ask Janine Strom. I go in there every week, get 8 to 10 books. But they're not for me.
You do get books for yourself too sometimes.
He reads that many books, but she sits at home all the time, and that means a lot for her to read and go to the library. Those books I do appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you for getting them for us, because we see a lot of older people that come to the library and they just need a visit and some books to hold them over for their next visit. So thank you.
Thank you.
He gets the books for himself.
One of these days I'll read all about it.
I'm sure you have to read.
Uh-oh, Justin.
Yeah, I have a question. Especially given this, what you said about, budgets, constraints, concerns for the future. With the uncertainty at the federal level and the possible threat of cuts from the current executive administration, is there any plan for what happens for the library if that happens? Any concerns on that area?
A lot of those funds are federal funds, and those funds come to us through our Power Library services, databases that the state purchases, things that they purchase for us that we utilize. So they are making plans. Right now, they have put out that they do not expect that they will lose their grant funding, is what they call it, for this fiscal year. They do not expect a loss of it. So they are putting plans together, and there's information. If you need me to share it with you, I can email that to you.
I just have to say, because we, as rural librarians, are so good at thinking ahead and knowing we know about funding that's maybe never gonna come. We're also good at figuring out new ways and doing what we need to do. We're always gonna do what we need to do until we can't. We're just gonna keep going one day at a time. We're gonna do what our job is, and we're just gonna, I know that all the libraries are used to this. You know,
What Janine is talking about is VC cycles. So you work and work and work to make your way up. And then 10 years later, you get cut back to what you had 10 years ago. We're still, I mean, we've gotten $35,000 from the county for years. For years. Before I started, when I started 30-some years ago, it was cut and we worked our way back up. And so we appreciate every dollar we get. We fight for every dollar we have. We ask that it be maintained, but we see this cycle. And unfortunately, that's why Marilyn says is that you get concerned because as board members, as trustees, their job is to make sure there's money there and the costs keep increasing. And I know municipalities continue to provide the same amount. So then you go and look for funding elsewhere. I mean, I look around my library and grants put a lot of things there. Grants. Grants will not pay for your operating costs. So that's why the money that we receive is so vital. And so, yes, there's a threat of the federal funding and state funding eventually too, getting cut. But we see that cycle happen all the time and we're always fighting from, just what we had the year before and to maintain it and tell the stories of the importance that we're still relevant, we're still being used, and to make people realize that just because you can go to Google and ask that question doesn't mean that we don't have databases that are paid through from those grants that are valid sources that are right and accurate. So yes, we have those services. We may lose some of those services. We don't know yet because it's a lot of guessing. And so like Janine says, we have to have faith that we will continue to go. I mean, I started out 30-some years ago and there really didn't seem to be hope in this field. And 30 years later, I look back and say, they could have said I wouldn't have a job in 30 years. I'm busier than ever. I did not run out of work and I still have more to do than I ever did. I might have less staff than I had before, but I'm still gonna put it together and I might have higher standards than I had before. And I'm still gonna be there, like Janine says, we're gonna find a way to provide the services because we have good volunteers and we have good commissioners. And that's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you recede, we're grateful that the representatives of the library are here today, and we thank them for their work. The libraries are staples of our community. They're pillars. They support literacy. They support activities. They're often the center of the communities of the towns in our county that have libraries. They are operated by dedicated people who are getting every ounce they can out of the funds that are provided. It's actually rewarding and an excellent example to other organizations that receive money and how effectively our library system uses those funds. This year, we cut many programs. We reduced them. We had some that we took down to zero. But we saw the library as one of those community components that we cannot do without. People think in the modern era there is connectivity, there is internet, there are all these electronics, but the communities of our county need this safety net. You heard Darlene express examples of what that looks like in person-to-person real contact. But any opportunity that any of us have to support our libraries, we should seek that opportunity, not just patronizing them, but And libraries around the county occasionally do fundraisers and sponsor activities. We should be attentive to those because our communities, without the libraries, the value of those communities would diminish. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, and we appreciate that you kept us in your budget and that you understand us, and we do appreciate all that you're doing for our libraries and for Quincy National Library. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, we have if there are no other questions or comments, we have a vote, so. We're, you moved it already. We're good. So all in favor? Aye. The motion does carry. Next, we'll consider a motion to proclaim the month of April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Jefferson County.
Also move it this time.
Mark makes the motion, and I'm pleased to second the motion. And Carrie, let's give you the floor.
Alrighty. Might regret.
Or not Carrie, Cassie.
It's okay, but my mom and I's name, we look similar and our names are
They're
similar.
like sisters.
I am not offended. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Cass Burkett. I am the Executive Director and Forensic Interviewer at the Western PA Cares for Kids Child Advocacy Center. And here I am here to discuss with you all about how we are dedicated to raising awareness and promoting child abuse prevention in Jefferson County. And together, not just our center, but community members, because prevention is a group effort, that we can ensure that every child has the opportunity to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. For those of you who maybe don't know what a child advocacy center is, it's a place that I hope most of you never have to visit, but it's a wonderful resource for those who do have to visit. Instead of just listing off stats for you all, I usually like to tell a story about a child that I've seen at the center. For confidentiality purposes, we'll call her Maddie. But usually, almost always, children have to come see me after they have made an allegation of abuse of some type, whether that's sexual or physical or emotional. And Maddie was coming into the center very upset after she had told someone that her dad had been doing some very bad things to her. She came in nervous, afraid, never really cared for by her family members, those who were really meant to protect her. And instead, she was able, instead of having to go to a police station, she was able to come to our center, which is very reminiscent of Grandma's house. It has very kitschy decor, very grandma quilts, warm, comforting. Sometimes kids ask if they need to take their shoes off because it looks more like a home than a doctor's office. And Maddie came in, and over a 2-hour interview, she pours out her heart about all of the things that had been happening to her over the years. And while that is only the first step for a lot of kids healing, it is the first crucial step that most have to take. For once in her life, instead of feeling neglected and not cared for, she felt like her voice mattered, like she mattered, because she hadn't really felt like that up to that point in her life. But the really beautiful thing about this was not only was she able to tell her story in a safe place with me. I like to say that I'm a little less scary than a police officer when kids come and talk with me. But in the other room, a police officer, a children and youth services caseworker, the district attorney representative, they were all able to gather together and listen to her story so that they could pursue justice for her, as well as protection and advocacy throughout this process. So that's a little bit about what our Child Advocacy Center does. We provide a space that kids can tell their story in a way that maybe some of the other pressure isn't on them, and so that they don't have to be interviewed 15 different times. Because before my center existed, kids were interviewed an average of 15 times. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to tell 15 strangers about the really bad things that have happened to me in my life. So that's why we exist, so that we can provide justice, protection, advocacy, and healing for kids. So I would just want to talk with you some ways that hopefully we can make a difference for children in Jefferson County this month. I encourage you all to wear blue on April 11th. If you would take a photo, send it in to us. We would love to post that on our Facebook with your permission, of course, just to really show the importance to people in our community that children we care about, and we care about the prevention of their harm. Also, if you have any interest, we have lots of display posters about the importance of Child Abuse Prevention Month. If that's something you have interest in, we have those that we would be happy to provide to you. Another thing that we have started doing recently at our center, because while I'm so glad our services exist for after abuse has happened, if we can prevent abuse in the first place, then that is the best outcome. So we have begun to do prevention education in the schools, which is wonderful. I get to teach the 5 safety rules to all the children, which is wonderful. Because again, we want to equip students and teachers and community members with tools to help them recognize and respond to child abuse. Because again, it is not a solo effort. It's not a single organization effort. It's a community effort. Another thing that we do is actually in this meeting, my center meets monthly for, we call it a case review meeting, a multidisciplinary investigative team. So that's where all of law enforcement, children and youth caseworkers, advocates from the community like Passages, which is a sexual assault agency, and Crossroads, the domestic violence agency, and mental health therapists all meet so that we can talk about these kids and their cases to make sure that there is a coordinated care, that kids are not slipping through the cracks, and that children are getting the care and attention to their cases that they deserve. Another thing is that we want to invite our Jefferson County commissioners. I have some child abuse prevention pins for you. I know Scott already has his one on for previous years on today, which we appreciate.
Vintage.
But we have another one, and that I know in the previous years we've shined a blue light from the courthouse in honor of child abuse survivors and prevention efforts. So I just want to conclude with that. While April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, protecting children is a responsibility that extends beyond 1 month. We don't just prevent for 1 month, it's every month. And it's everyone's job as parents, teachers, law enforcement, business, and community members to stand up for children, to recognize the signs of abuse, and take action to ensure their safety and well-being. So together, we can be a voice for children, and let's make every month a month of protection, healing, and hope. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Any questions or comments from Cass? Before Cass?
I'd like to say that I love that, and everything that you do. And when you go out to the community, just to whatever, we've worked together and she's come to the library to speak. It's a hard subject, to talk to young children and parents who never want something like that to ever happen. And the fact that you can do that in such a way that everybody feels, safe, I guess, or, I really appreciate that. And I think that it's an amazing thing, and you'll have to come back. You come at least once a year.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably be sending you an email. I saw you, I was like, oh, I can send you an email.
So, but you just don't know who you're going to reach when.
Yeah, if it's just one kid, it's worth it to me. If it only helps one kid, then that's worth it. So I would say that.
Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for all you do and all your staff does. I know it's an extremely hard job, but it's, like I said, rewarding if you could just help one person out. And I know I was in law enforcement for many years, and you help the police officers out many times, where a lot of police officers could be a little rough sometimes, and you really make a big difference.
We all have different roles.
What's that?
We all have different roles. I am not a police officer, and they're not forensic interviewers, so we all have our role.
You're helping the community, their family members. Like I said, the most important, the child. You're really helping. just help on. Thank you for all you do.
I'd like to share that I've been to your facility and it's a first-class operation. And it is like a home environment that under the circumstances where, to my mind, the most horrific, horrendous, despicable thing that a human being could do may be, may have been the experience of the child as a victim. And you and your team help them at what might be the most vulnerable point, where strangers are all around them and so many things that they don't understand. So I add my gratitude to Mark's comments to, for, and toward you. And I just by way of illustration for anyone or anyone's organizations that are interested, I'm pleased and proud that the Punxsutawney VFW passes the hat around every year to help fund your operations. And I want to tell you that that isn't something I did not do that. They did that. When they heard the story of Western Pennsylvania Cares for Kids and the mission and the accomplishments, that took on a life of its own. So an organization to which I belong, on its own, said, we don't want to just do this once, we want to do this on a regular basis. So the members there are the ones who said, this isn't going to be a one-time thing. We want to show our support on an annual basis.
And we're so grateful. We are a nonprofit and we're funded through community support and grants. And I know earlier she was talking about how, grants are not, they're cyclical and they're not always guaranteed money. So you always have to be looking ahead, especially in rural areas. So really just the support of community members like the VFW are huge for us. We couldn't do it. And even just like, if it's not monetary support, like we've had people who come and trim our hedges or help us paint or just do things like that. It is not a one-man operation, and I'm always so continuously grateful for the support that we have from our community.
You also have an annual fundraiser, don't you?
We do.
You want to mention that?
Yeah, on July 19th this year, it's always the third weekend of July, it's our 16th annual duathlon, 5K, and community walk. So even if you're not athletic, not saying any of you aren't, but even if you're not, I know I'm not super athletic, but we, that's probably our major fundraiser of the year. That's where we get a majority of our general donations for the year, which is huge. And it's really fun. Like, I know I'm biased because it's my event, but it is a really fun day. Families come, there's a free picnic lunch afterwards, we have prizes. It's just a really wonderful time. It's in Shelter 2 in the forest, and it starts at 8 a.m. So if any of you want to come out, it's a great time.
And if someone has a part to send you something, how could they get a hold of your organization?
The best way would be to email me or to call us. So my email is cburkett, B as in boy, URKTT @carescac.org, or to call the center at 814-1904.
You have a website.
We have a website as well. It's carescac.org.
We're done putting you through the ringer.
That's fine. That was easy. Thank you.
All right, so on the resolution before us, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, next, ladies and gentlemen, we'll consider a memorandum of understanding by and between Jefferson County and the Jefferson County Conservation District. This memorandum addresses various items of mutual interest to the Conservation District, pertains to their operations, functions, and responsibilities.
So moved.
Second. What I'd like to share with regard to this memorandum, and like a copy that can be provided, essentially it outlines the support that the county provides the Conservation District. It's matured and developed and changed over the years. Earlier in the year, for example, we conveyed the property, the building, that's their home office to them as an organization. But it addresses things like responsibility for services, legal support, things like that. So it was time to bring that up to standard. Mark, thank you and your work with Sean to get that up to 2025. And so that's the matter at hand.
We had that MOU before, it's supposed to be done every 5 years, so we just updated, like Steve Wentzel, he's a fantastic person, it's cool, doing a good job too.
Any questions or discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Before we get into public comment, I'm going to shoehorn a couple of items into here. First of all, I don't hear a baby. Oh, yes, I do. Good. So we'll need Lexi's attention. Do we have members of the safety committee here today? We do. All right, let me ask that question differently. If you're a member of the safety committee, would you raise your hand? All right, so now come up here. Bring you all the way down here and sit back. So if you would be kind enough to stand to Mark's immediate left. And Ms. Rogas, you're gonna need to join us. You can bring your boss along. Lexi was off today, and I didn't realize you were off today. You didn't tell me you were off today. You came home from work. I was like, wanted you here to this meeting. And so here you are. We want to highlight the safety committees today for a couple of reasons. So the safety committee is involved for the Jefferson County government safety committee is involved with various things. So they meet on a regular basis. This team looks at things like ways to mitigate accident potential. How do we address safety hazards? They look at actual accidents that take place when there's a fall or someone is injured in pursuit of their duties. They evaluate what happened. How do they prevent that from happening again? So in that way, they're protecting the assets of the people of Jefferson County, because it's not just about saving costs on our insurance and insurance claims. It's about taking care of our people. So we want those people to be safe, and we want to learn the lesson from those that perhaps had a mishap or an incident. And so along those lines, our insurance company, which is a pooled insurance with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, recognized out of their, I think, 54 members of the 67 counties, they recognized Lexi Rogas for her excellent work in bringing down cost in claims. Like I said, it's not just saving money, more importantly, it's saving discomfort, pain, and injury to our employees. So we can't quantify the things that didn't happen, but we can recognize and acknowledge that there are things that didn't happen because of this team and the other people who couldn't join us today. The safety committee is probably, 18, 20 people. And I know that there are some shy people who probably just don't want to stand up or be part of it, who are also contributors to those kinds of things, not just on the safety committee, but courthouse security and so forth. Safety and security, all of these things work together. For example, our safety ordinance that commissioners promulgated a few months ago, all of these things feed and work together to help keep the visiting public safe, our employees safe, and protect our property and assets. So did you bring your plaque? So Lexi was recognized by the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, not just for her work, and if you don't mind me putting it in these terms, it's for the work that the team does. This was a plaque, and I can't give you a good reason. I can't give you any reason why this wasn't recognized and acknowledged before, but P Corp is the hazard and liability insurance for the county. In 2022, we were also recognized for good cost saving measures. And that was, again, all things safety, and not just the safety committee, but all the staff. Everyone doing their part to keep themselves, keep their fellow workers safe, and also to take care of the visiting public. Just like Lexi was the focus of attention last week by the organization that provides our workers' comp, this hazard liability insurance was actually an acknowledgement and recognition by a lot of work done by all the people at entities I just mentioned and Tracy Dennis. So, and Tracy is going to be when he gets back, we're going to use him as an example of, what happens when you have a workers' comp claim. And when all the things are working right, how you get all the things that happen when you have a significant accident. So Tracy's not here because of the great work Lexi does to take care of our people when they do get hurt. So with that, are there any questions or comments? Well, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you, Lexi, for all the work you're doing to save committee. I don't know if you're aware of it, but they, we got almost a savings of $70,000 last year for what they've done. We actually got a emergency generator put on top of Jefferson Place, and that's very expensive. That was paid for through this $70,000 that we saved. And also, I believe at the courthouse, the metal detector was down, and that was like $10,000, I think, roughly around 10,000. But this is the work they do saves the county a lot of money. And, we appreciate it. Thank you.
And while we're talking about it, and this is in all things, in the realm of all things safety. Chad Weaver, who's our court administrator, obtained a grant a couple of years ago that helped enhance specifically courthouse safety. So again, we're trying to get those resources. We all pay state level taxes, and they essentially go to Philadelphia. So when these kinds of things are taking place, we're getting that money back to the people of Jefferson County. So all of these things, they help our people, they help the visiting public, they help protect the assets that we use tax money to pay for. So thank you all. Well, this is from 2022.
Oh, okay.
She hit her black, so we can't do that. So why don't you hang out when the meeting's over? I'm sure Justin or Pat would like to get. Oh, you already did? All right. You're safe. You're fine. All right, thanks.
Speaking like that.
All right. Any other business? You have any other business? I have one last item before I close the meeting. I want to wish Mark Humes a happy 90th birthday.
I would like to wish Jessica happy birthday.
30th birthday. All right. So if there is no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Public comments.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought you were done. Okay, public comment. Okay,
Yeah,
press.
I'd like to throw one thing out. I know 10, 12 years ago, I found a thing in the national paper, county township paper, about being able to take like the juror checks, which are normally tossed in the junk, and then the county ends up having just send that money to Harrisburg. We worked out a deal when Jeff and the judge okayed it, that Cares for Kids was the recipient of that money. When they go into juror, they can sign a paper that, yeah, I don't want my $8, my $7, whatever it might be, donate it there. Well, that saves the county probably at least 30 checks a month, if not more. Plus, at the end of the 2 years now, having to send all that money to Harrisburg because nobody pays for it. So it's a win for them, it's a win for the county.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. We'll close public comments. Pat, anything?
Just one question. Is there any sort of burn ban in effect right now?
Okay. Justin,
I don't have anything.
we exhaust you? Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go right into a jail board meeting and then it's gonna be followed by salary board. You're welcome to stay, but if you're leaving, if you don't want to be part of the jail board, I'd ask you to leave so we can get right into the next meeting. And if you are a member of the jail board, please come forward. You want to take a picture of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
That's
get
fine. Let's get through jail board and then we'll do pictures and then we'll jump into salary.
That'll work.
Because jail board's won't take it out.
Just leave it here?
Yeah, we raised it for.
I